Evening, everyone. Tonight is Thursday, November 5th, 2020. I'd like to call the Fitchburg City Council to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting audio and video recording of this meeting for public broadcast. I now ask for Councilor Di Natale to please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilor Di Natale. Madam Clerk, if you would please conduct the roll call.
The following councilors have logged in and are present at tonight's meeting. President Kuchmarek, Councilor Boschman, Councilor Kucher, Councilor Di Natale, Councilor Fleming, Councilor Green, Councilor Schultz, Councilor Squalia, Councilor Van Hazinga, Councilor Walsh, and Councilor Zarella.
Next, with a motion for suspension of the rules, Councilor Zarella.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we suspend any and all rules of this body or of our parliamentary authority which are in conflict with either the remote participation format or with the state guidelines on remote participation during the COVID-19 pandemic.
Second.
I have a motion and second. This will be done by roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Councilor Di Natale.
Yes.
Councilor Fleming.
Yes.
Councilor Green.
Yes.
Councilor Schultz.
Yes.
Councilor Squalia.
Yay.
Councilor Van Hazinga.
Yes.
Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Councilor Zarella.
Yes.
President Kuchmarek.
Yes.
Councilor Boschman.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilor Kucher.
Yes.
Thank you. That is unanimous.
Next, public forum. The public has been advised to contact the city clerk's office by noon today regarding any comments of not more than 2 minutes. And we have a number of folks joining us this evening. The first who will be joining us is Mariah Pridgeon. And to all members who are speaking before us this evening, if you could just introduce yourself by name and your address, and then the item number on the agenda that you're speaking to. And Mariah, welcome to the Fitchburg City Council. Do we have Mariah here with us?
Can you hear me? Hi,
Mariah,
sir. Can you hear me? This is Mariah. Hi.
Mariah, we can hear you loud and clear. And with that, I'll ask you to just introduce yourself by name and address and the item number on the agenda you're speaking to. And then you'll have 2 minutes from there.
Okay, yes, sir. My name is Mariah Pridgeon. I'm here with my husband, Terreno Pridgeon. We are at 15 Federal Street in Fitchburg. Our petition number is 228-20. We just first want to take a brief moment just to thank President Kuchmarek of the City Council and all members for hearing us this evening on this topic regarding our Black Lives Matter banner. More specifically, I matter, you matter, we matter, Black Lives Matter. A little background about us both is we were both born and raised here in Fitchburg. We've raised all of our children here and are now watching our grandchildren be raised here. A couple months back, during a heightened racial divide in our country, we had seen a fist had been painted on the rock at the quarries, a spot that has historically been designated to the graduating class. And we realized that it was now being used for a larger arena and that a Black Lives Matter banner needed its own prospective place. A few short facts. Black and brown people are dying 2.3 times the rate of our white counterparts, 3 times more likely to have food insecurities, 4 times more likely to miss mortgage or rent payments during this pandemic. As a whole, Black and brown people are suffering at disproportionate rates. And to that we say, I matter, you matter, we matter, Black Lives Matter. In our country, police brutality is real and it's a historic issue for Black and brown people. But we are taking our given opportunity and looking to the future in this moment. We are blessed in the city to have as many of us remember as Mr. Martineau, the Appleman's son, as our chief of police. We are fortunate that as a chief of police, he recognizes all issues and understands every part of our community. And for that, we are thankful. In closing, we have seen our city come together during such a time of division. We have seen the Black Lives Matter signs and the Fitchburg No Home for Hate signs, and we have been touched by the show of support. We just feel inclined to go one step further and have a designated permanent spot to mark this moment. A moment that as a community, we continue to grow, we continue to make efforts to come together, and we continue to heal as one Fitchburg. Thank you, and may God bless you all.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Pridgeon, and you will certainly have an opportunity to, I know everyone's held to 2 minutes this evening. You'll certainly have an opportunity to address the Public Works Committee in more detail, and Councillor Fleming, who is chair of the Public Works Committee, can certainly make sure that you have access to join and address the body when the petition goes before them.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Next we have joining us, we have Amara, Kupiec at 70 McIntyre Road.
Yes, hi.
Hi, Amara.
Hi, my name is Amara Kupiec, and my husband, John Kupiec. We live at 70 McIntyre Road. We're here in regards to item number 227-20. We're just saying that we're in agreement with the petition to have McIntyre Road become a scenic route. We just want to have the city take a serious look at the well water issues, as well as the conditions of the roads. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Peter Kettle. Is Peter with us? Good evening, Peter. I'm going to ask you to unmute there.
Okay, is that better?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, President Kuczmarek, Mayor Di Natale, City Councillors. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you tonight in a different circumstance. Basically, my neighbour, Amara Kupiec, who is also my niece, lives on McIntyre. We've lived here personally for about 17, 18 years. And within that time, we've seen 80 acres of land changing very, very dramatically from a beautiful forest into, if you go up to the top of McIntyre, which I know Councillor Boschman and also President Kuczmarek have seen, it's a bit of a disaster because all the trees have been taken down. So instead of speaking longer, we will talk again at the City Property Committee and also the City Council later. So thank you very much to everyone that's supporting this, and we really appreciate it. And obviously not just for us, but for people going to the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Next, we have Mark Dupuy. Mark, I'll ask you to unmute, and if you could introduce yourself. Mark, can you hear us? Mark, we can hear you. It's very muted, so if you could speak loudly.
All right, is that a bit better?
We can hear you now.
All right, I'm Mark Dupuy. I live at 430 Williams Road with my wife Stephanie and our daughter. We've lived here, 9 years now, and we're looking to have the areas around here zoned as scenic routes. I feel like when you drive up this area and you start at the bottom of the hill, you notice that as soon as you come up, you have lots of triple deckers, houses very close together. And you kind of get a certain feel for that area. As you start to progress up the hill, you start noticing the houses are spread out a little more. They're still on the side of the road. There's no trees there, but it starts feeling a little nicer. When you get to the top of the hill and you start having lots of trees in the area, the houses are more spread apart. I think that the feel you get is something that's tangible, that as you're going up that area, you can tell the difference. We have people that we've been outside have asked, is this still Fitchburg? You say, yeah, is this still Fitchburg? And it's crazy that we're 5 minutes from Main Street, but we have such a beautiful area up here. It feels country. It doesn't feel city suburb. It feels country. I think that those are rare spots in a city growing like ours to have and to be able to maintain and foster. And I just think that when we look down the road 30, 40 years from now, how many opportunities are there going to be to maintain an area like this. And so we had kind of a unique opportunity. There's not many left. And that's all I'll say about that right now.
Thank you, Mark. Next, we have Ellen Kettle. Is Ellen with us this evening? Peter, I'll make an assumption that this is someone related to you. I just want to confirm: is Ellen with us, or should we skip over?
I think she's most probably relying on what I've said because she will involve herself at the next meeting.
Perfect.
Michael, thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right, we have next Megan, GNA. Is Megan with us? Megan logging on now. So Megan,
Can you hear me?
we
There
can
we
hear
go.
you now.
Perfect. Hi, sorry, I am at 393 Williams Road. Moved up here 4 years ago with my husband, my 3 children. Part of moving up here was definitely that country feel that Mark was speaking of. Something that is concerning is the well water issue aside of that country feel, but the water issue. When we purchased this house from the Crotchetier family 4 years ago, Mr. Crotchetier was very adamant and very passionate about the well water. He had an artesian well that when the house next to us was built at 411 Williams Road, his artesian well went dry. That was about a 600-foot well, and at his cost, he had to put in a 1,100-foot well. That is very concerning to us as a growing family with 3 young elementary school children that are, still growing, and that would be a huge expense, something that would be very unfortunate to happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. And we have a couple of late registrants. Give me one moment. I want to make sure we're not excluding anyone here who's joined us. I have Doreen Ayers. Is Doreen with us? Doreen, if you can hear us, if you'd like to unmute and turn on your camera, you're welcome to address us.
Okay, I think I just unmuted.
We can hear you.
Okay. So I don't know if I have much to add to the people that have spoken previously, other than I think it's long overdue that this area should have been protected. And I'm not sure that everyone has an understanding of the Scenic Road Act. My understanding is that no city trees can be removed. But if they're on the property, their own property, they can remove those trees. And I don't know if that's true or not. And my other fear is that they're going to continue to cut trees down on the city property before this gets passed or enacted. Thank you.
Thank you, Doreen. And lastly, I'm going to make an assumption. We didn't have a petition item listed, but if we have a Michael Marchetti joining us, Michael, is this in regards to the same item?
Yes, it is.
Wonderful, sir. You have,
225-20, sorry. The one with Marchetti Industries and the host community agreement.
Understood. I think, let me just check. Give me one moment, sir. I want to make sure we've taken everyone for 227. I think we have. So you have the floor, sir.
Oh, well, I just wanted to say thank you very much for allowing me to get this far in the process. I'm really looking forward to opening up a store in your community. I mean, it's my community as well. I've lived in the area my whole life. So just thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Excellent. And I believe the last person we have, do we have Mary Jo Bohart joining us as well?
Yes, I'm here, and it's related to Petition 173-20, which will be discussed later in the agenda, and it is the Day Street on-street parking that Councilors Fleming and Van Hazinga are bringing forward.
Mary Jo, if you'd like to speak to it now, that would...
Perfect, that sounds fine. This all began in the summertime, actually, as we were working with some of the commercial property owners within the commercial condo at the corner of Day and Main. It's 281 Main. And the municipal Day Street parking lot was nearly always full. And it became more obvious through observation in the field that some of the residents in the nearby apartment buildings, such as the Hotel Raymond, really don't have any parking that's proximate to their building. And so they were basically in the parking lot that you would think that maybe downtown business patrons might use, but it was always full. So this day street, on-street parking is an opportunity. It sounds like it'll be through an experiment of maybe 90 days, but I think it's a great opportunity for us to try getting more parking for downtown residents. And that way the municipal lot will be available for customers. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Bohart. And we have Sharon Bernard, but I'll ask Sharon to hold on just a little bit. We'll bring you back with us when we entertain suspension of the rules when we hit that item on our agenda. That said, we'll resume. That concludes public comment. I want to make sure we have several folks on the line. Is there anyone that I've missed? Very good. Seeing none, we'll move back to the agenda. We had no appointments committee tonight, but we do have a report from the Committee on Records. Councilor Squalia.
We have reviewed the records and they appear to be in order.
Motion to accept under unanimous consent.
Second. I have a motion and second to accept the report from the Committee on Records by unanimous consent. Are there any objections from councilors? Seeing none, it is approved. Next, we have communications. We have 3 letters of appointment from His Honor the Mayor. The first is Ms. Bonnie Hautala as a member of the Fitchburg Council on Aging, term to expire December 31st, 2022. The next is Ms. Michelle Morin as a member of the Fitchburg Council on Aging, term to expire on November 1st, 2023. And third, expected appointments letter for the position of facilities manager. And councilors, I believe you received that documentation as well. Additionally, we have a communication from His Honor the Mayor in the form of a proclamation, which I will read this evening. City of Fitchburg Executive Department, Stephen L. DiNatale, Mayor, a proclamation. Whereas the City of Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and our region has long been home to a vibrant Armenian community, and whereas many are here as descendants of the 1915 Armenian genocide and the earlier massacres in the Ottoman Empire, and whereas the current Azerbaijani Turkish aggression across the borders of Artsakh and Azerbaijan are tragically familiar, and whereas the lack of information in the United States media about the ongoing slaughter of innocent children, families, seniors, and the bombing of churches and hospitals and Stepan Court should be known. Therefore, I, Stephen L. DiNatale, Mayor, do hereby proclaim to the Armenians in Fitchburg and our region that we salute the Armenians of Artsakh. The City of Fitchburg stands with you. We see your sorrow. Know that we will continue to stand for peace in Artsakh. Given this day, the 19th day of October, 2020, Stephen L. DiNatale, Mayor. Next, we have communication from Sharon Bernard, the Fitchburg Public Library. Councilors, unless there is any specific request to read this communication, we'll place this on file in the city clerk's office. Is there any objection? Seeing none, we will place this on file and accept the communication. And lastly, we have a communication from the Pension Reserves Investment Management Board. That too will be placed on file in the city clerk's office. Next, we have a City Property Committee oral report meeting of November 5th, 2020. Councilor Zarella.
Thank you, Mr. President. The City Property Committee met earlier tonight and took up one of the listed matters. The second matter, 04620, is still on the table and has not been lifted off the table. So 21720 Monterey Oil Corporation to sell, transfer, and convey to Monterey Oil Corporation a certain parcel of land identified as Parcel C and consisting of 1,120 square feet as outlined in the enclosed petition. That was amended to specifically note that the city would reserve a right-of-way over the 10-foot buffer strip for the passage of fire vehicles. And this was with the consent of Attorney Avini, the attorney for Montouri. And with that said, it was approved 4-1.
Motion to
Motion
accept.
to approve?
I have
Second.
a motion and second to approve the City Property Committee oral report. Speaking on the motion, Councilor Boishman.
I just want to make sure that if I vote for this tonight, even though I voted against it earlier, that this thing goes in front of gets stamped by the Registry of Deeds on that right away. That's all I'm concerned about.
Am I correct that this would be standard practice, Councilor Zarella?
It would, yes.
Okay. So that's affirmative, Councilor Boishman.
All right.
That said, I have a motion and second. We'll do this unless there is objection. We'll take this under unanimous consent. Is there any objection from councilors? Seeing none, unless there is objection, we have adopted the City Property Committee oral report. It is approved. Thank you, Attorney Avini. Next, we have the Finance Committee meeting of October 20th. Councilor Squalia, can you say again? I couldn't hear you.
Councilor Zarella wants to speak.
Councilor Zarella?
Yes, thank you, and thank you, Councilor Squalia. I just wanted to note that Attorney Avini agreed to take his time to come in case of any questions, and I thank him for doing so, despite the fact that we didn't end up actually needing it.
Not a problem. Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Attorney. Have a good evening. Next, we have Finance Committee meeting of October 27th, 2020. Councilor Di Natale.
Thank you. Finance met last Tuesday, took up 3 orders, all adopted unanimously. The first two the first one has to do with a $4,582 grant from FEMA to purchase additional PPE and disinfecting supplies to combat the COVID-19 pandemic for the fire department. 21520 was an order to approve the expenditure of funds from the Community-Oriented Policing Services Program grant for $81,420 to improve the delivery of and access to mental health and wellness services for law enforcement. And 21620 was an order to appropriate the sum of $755,109.06 charged against reserve for appropriation insurance recoveries over 150 and credited to school expenses. This was the reimbursement from Maya, from our insurance carrier for Crocker Elementary, the pipe burst issue. This $755,000 was not for the direct expenses related to the renovation of that building for the repairs. It was out-of-pocket expenses that the city of Fitchburg School Department paid for, like the leasing for the Passios and St. Anthony's school buildings and transportation, all this other related stuff that we ended up getting a check from Maya on top of what we spent directly. That's going to go to the school department now for what they said was going to be used for a whole swath of reading programming throughout the district.
Motion to accept.
I have a motion made by Councilor Fleming. Is that to accept? Councilor Fleming?
Yes.
Okay, and a second made by Councilor Walsh. We'll take this under unanimous consent unless there is objection from councilors. Seeing no objection from councilors, we have accepted the Finance Committee report. Next, Public Works Committee meeting of October 27th, 2020. Councilor Fleming.
Yes, we met last Tuesday, just before the Finance Committee meeting. And this is a pretty extensive list of petitions we have here. And I would have no problem with it being granted for all of them at one time, unless you would like me to read each individual petition.
Councilors, I'd entertain a motion to accept or approve the report from the Public Works Committee.
So moved.
Second.
I have many motions and many seconds to accept the Public Works Committee report. Speaking on the motion, we'll take this by unanimous consent unless there is any objection. Seeing no objection, it is accepted.
Motion to take the following two items under suspension of the rules.
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 222 and 223:20. We'll do this by roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Counselor Di Natale,
Yes.
Counselor Fleming,
Yes.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Squalia,
Yay.
Counselor Van Hazinga,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarella,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yes.
Counselor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
And so I believe we have Sharon Bernard with us here this evening. Sharon, I know you sent a communication. Is there anything else is there anything you'd like to add about 222 and 223:20?
No, good evening, councilors. No, thank you. I was just looking to have this done sooner rather than later, so the window painting project can finish up and we can make sure that we continue to have heat this winter with the leaking pipes in the boiler room. So thank you.
Move to approve
Make a motion, we
222
accept.
and 223:20.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 222 and 223:20. Speaking on the motion, seeing none, we'll take this. Actually, I believe we probably have to take this by roll call vote. Madam Clerk, is that correct?
That would be a great idea, yes.
All right, we'll do that. Madam Clerk.
Counselor Di Natale,
Yes.
Counselor Fleming,
Yes.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Squalia,
Yay.
Counselor Van Hazinga,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarella,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yes.
Counselor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
And this motion carries. Next, we have orders other. We have a request for suspension of the rules on both 224:20 as well as 225:20.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 224 and 225:20. We'll take this by roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Counselor Di Natale,
Yes.
Counselor Fleming,
Yes.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Squalia,
Yay.
Counselor Van Hazinga,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarella,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yes.
Counselor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
So we'll take
Motion
these.
to approve 224:20.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 224:20. I have Counselor Green looking to speak on the motion. Counselor Green, the floor is yours.
Thank you. And I just want to clarify that if and when we approve 224:20, that the wording would then include our amended portion of that original petition, where that's going to be a quitclaim deed, that it should be noted that there'll be a conveyance of the reserve of right-of-way to the city of Fitchburg and in perpetuity to the Fitchburg Fire Department. Thank you.
Counselor, I believe so because it references petition 217:20. I can ask, we have Solicitor Pusateri and Counselor Zarella if there's a need to further amend the order before us, or if simply accepting the amended petition earlier is sufficient. I will, Counselor Zarella.
It appears that I was going to say I'm pretty certain we don't need to amend, but Solicitor Pusateri has entered in the chat box that is correct. So we can proceed.
Thank you, Solicitor Pusateri. I appreciate that. You're so quick in the chat box, I didn't even see it. Wonderful. So I have a, Counselor Green, does that answer your question? Great. I have a motion and second. We'll take this by roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Counselor Di Natale,
Yes.
Counselor Fleming,
Yes.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Squalia,
Yay.
Counselor Van Hazinga,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarilla,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yeah, yes.
Counselor Kucher.
yes,
That is unanimous.
Next, we have 22520, ordered that the Honorable Stephen D. Natale is authorized on behalf of City of Fitchburg to facilitate and execute the attached community host benefit agreement with Marquetti Industries LLC located at 50 Wayland Street, Fitchburg.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 22520. Speaking on the motion, I have Counselor Fleming.
Yes. The only question I have is how many host agreements does this make now?
See if we can-
Because
Can we bring in Solicitor Pusateri? Can you jump in? Mayor or Patrick, our new Chief of Staff. Sorry, you haven't even been formally introduced, but if you have an answer, I'd be happy to field it from you.
yeah, you know what? I lost connectivity. I don't know, what's the question? I just came back on.
how many host agreements do we have now?
I'm with you too.
I have Solicitor Pusateri. Solicitor, fire away.
I'm just pulling up the spreadsheet now. I could guess that we're in excess of 24. Just bear with me, please.
That's retail and cultivation, correct?
That would be everything, yes, sir.
And what was our limit?
Our limit, the only limit was set by the council is 8 retail locations. And so there was no limit, set. And I'm pulling up one of the, for cultivation and no limit set for processing. I won't be able to give you a more exact number than my estimate of 24 at this point. There are a couple of other ones that you'll be seeing over the course of the next week. So it could be 25 to 26 at that point. What I would like to do is when you get the next host agreement in, I will submit to you a spreadsheet with the list of the names and the addresses and relevant information.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Next, I have Counselor Boishman.
My question is this. I don't mind voting for these host agreements, but are they definitely going to be opening up? That's the question. I got one in Cleveland. Now I'm told it may not even open up. So aren't we wasting our time sometime on voting on these host agreements? We don't even know if they're going to open or not.
Solicitor Pusateri, could you field that?
Yes, please. We never know when a business comes to the city whether or not they're going to be successfully able to open up. And that is never more particularly true than a highly regulated environment such as the marijuana industry. The primary complaint that we're hearing from applicants is a slowdown through the Cannabis Control Commission process. However, we suspect often that much of the slowdown can also be financing concerns. Nonetheless, if we don't throw irons in the fire, nothing will ever come to fruition. So it's impossible to pick in the beginning as to which ones will be successful and which ones won't be. And it's our current posture is to support opportunity for new businesses, provided that certain specifications or criteria is met, and then try to put those forward. We have taken additional step where historically we were working with a group through the mayor's office and then executing a host agreement and then sending them out for special permit. What we're now doing is having the project reviewed at the special permit level. So you should be seeing properties that already have special permits from here on out. So that would act as an additional filter, if you will, for us to spend additional time on the host agreements. The other thing too, Counselor, is I do have an individual fee specifically set towards the host agreement of $3,000, which is due from all the applicants upon the execution of the host agreement. So while we do spend some time working and negotiating a host agreement out with entities, the city is compensated for the administrative time that goes into the host agreement. So there is an opportunity to pick up a little bit of the loss there. Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Councilor Boishman.
I got one other question for the city solicitor. My other question is this: when a council comes in front of you because we made a host agreement with somebody, and where their property is, and there's a lot of overgrowth or trash and all that, do we still have the same rights to go after them and have them clean up and everything else?
Any property owner could be subject to code enforcement. And if their property is being kept in a manner that's inconsistent with the code enforcement, we could take that avenue. We could certainly call, I think we tried to contact one specific entity on your behalf, Counselor.
Yeah.
And that group isn't moving forward. They've lost interest in the property. So if they've lost interest in the property, we suffer from a number of abandoned properties, and we put that through the NICE committee to try to work on ways of either taking ownership and then turning the properties around, or the mayor's been focused on demolition, or whether properties would be demolished.
All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Counselor.
Counselor Squalia next.
Yes, just for information and clarification on our retail permit capacity of 8 retail permits. We are currently at our capacity after I had a discussion today with the Community Development Director. We do have a number of retail operations with permits that are scheduled to expire over this coming year. However, there is an extension of those expiration dates due to the state of emergency COVID-19 pandemic. But those permits last for a period of a year unless they are extended by the city. Thank you.
So I have a motion and second.
I make a motion that we accept.
We already have, I believe, a motion and second on the table. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? We have a motion and second. We'll take this by roll call vote.
Councilor Di Natale.
Yes.
Councilor Fleming.
Yes.
Councilor Green.
Is it too late to ask a question?
Yes, Counselor. Sorry, we're in the middle of the vote.
Yes.
Councilor Schultz.
Yes.
Councilor Squalia.
Yay.
Councilor Van Hazinga.
Yes.
Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Councilor Zarella.
Yes.
President Kushmerek.
Yes.
Councilor Boishman.
Yes.
Councilor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
This is a question, Solicitor Pusateri, if you could. 22620 is also before us. I didn't see a request for suspension. Are you also requesting suspension?
While we're on our minds on it, this is the same as the prior one. So if that would please the council.
And Councilor Green, this would give you an opportunity to ask a question along the same. So I'll recognize you as soon as we do suspension. I would entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and second for suspension of the rules on 22620. Madam Clerk.
Councilor Di Natale.
Yes.
Councilor Fleming.
Yes.
Councilor Green.
Yes.
Councilor Schultz.
Yes.
Councilor Squalia.
Yay.
Councilor Van Hazinga.
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarella,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yes.
Counselor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
Counselor Green, the floor is yours.
Thank you. My question would be to Solicitor Pusateri on the revenue that we have collected from these host agreements, and knowing that we are at max right now on our retail limit, do the establishments that are going to go for an extension due to the pandemic, does that bump out how many new ones we could allow come in if the opportunity is before us?
No, I don't think it will. I think currently we have 8 special permits outstanding for retail, and we have actually more than 8 host agreements. One of the prior applicants didn't follow through. So at this point in time, the planning department wouldn't be issuing any new applications for a special permit for a retail organization.
Okay, and then on the spreadsheet that you're going to provide to us, will you have a potential recognized revenue from those host agreements on each of those?
I don't have that currently, Counselor. In the information that I have on the spreadsheet that's before us that we keep in the law department is, typical identifying information, type of facility, when the special permit was issued, the date of the outreach committee, their status at the CCC. I could work with the auditor's department to determine who has paid and how much, but that may prolong getting that information out to you. The information that I currently have.
I won't prolong the process, but I just want to make sure that, especially where your statement was that you're collecting $3,000 currently from host agreements to help offset a portion of the legal fees associated with moving forward. So at some point, I would just like, to run the numbers on that.
Sure.
We'll provide that, Counselor.
Thank you.
That's not a problem.
Next, we have Counselor Boishman.
One quick question. And this is to the city solicitor. If we wanted to change the zoning, since we're working on zoning right now, to have a retail shop downtown Pittsburgh, will we be able to do that?
Absolutely. The changing the zoning would require us to follow a little bit of the criteria that or the procedures that are set out in the Zoning Enforcement Act. We would start with it'd have to start with a certain group of people or certain entities within the city, go to the planning board. They would have to make recommendations and file a report with the city council, and then we would act based upon that report, or maybe disregard the report and do something completely different.
Would that take a petition?
It would ordinarily start with the petition, and then after that petition process occurs, then we would want to put it in the form of an ordinance within a specific time frame of 90 days.
Okay. The only reason why I asked that question is you see some of these retailers fixing up buildings, and here we are, we're trying to develop downtown Pittsburgh. What better way? They'll take an old building and fix it all up for us and start bringing people downtown if it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's the reason why I brought it up. So I might put that petition in for downtown location. Thank you.
Well, I have, I'd entertain now a motion to accept 22620.
Motion to accept.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and second to approve 22620. We'll do this by roll call vote. Madam Clerk.
Counselor Di Natale,
Yes.
Counselor Fleming,
Yes.
Counselor Green,
Yes.
Counselor Schultz,
Yes.
Counselor Squalia,
Yay.
Counselor Van Hazinga,
Yes.
Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
Counselor Zarella,
Yes.
President Kushmerek,
Yes.
Counselor Boishman,
Yes.
Counselor Kucher.
Yes.
That is unanimous.
Unanimous, motion carries. And I want to thank Michael Marchetti, who joined us earlier this evening during public comments, who was also here to regarding 22520. So thank you for your interest in doing business in the city of Fitchburg and for joining us this evening. Good luck in your endeavors. Last, we have two petitions, 22720 and 22820, which stand referred to their respective committees. Councilors, before we adjourn, I apologize. I encouraged us to place the first communication from the library on file, and this is actually intended to be a communication to the public. And so I just want to make sure that we get that communication out. So bear with me one moment as I pull this up. And this is dated October 28th, addressed to Councilor Michael Kushmarek. Dear Councilor, the Fitchburg Public Library is pleased to announce that the Youth Library is offering appointments for one family at a time to visit the children's room to find books and other materials to check out. Call 978-829-1789 to reserve your time. The adult library has 1 hour appointments available for computer use. Reserve time by calling 978-829-1780, selecting option 3. We are looking to open for limited browsing in adults in the adult library before the end of the year. While we plan how best to keep our patrons and staff as safe as possible, people can email requests to fplref@cwmars.org or call us at 978-829-1780, option 3. We continue to order new books, audiobooks, and DVDs and want people to borrow them. Staff will assist in finding the books and magazines people want to read, the music and audiobooks they want to hear, and the films they may want to watch. People can also search on the online catalog and place items on hold. Curbside pickup includes these materials as well as faxing and remote printing. We will call you when your items are ready and meet you inside the front door. New ebook and e-audiobook titles are being added to the Overdrive and Libby apps. You are able to apply for a library card online. Our Facebook pages are a good way to discover virtual programs, new additions to the catalog, and other activities. To see all the services we have available, including databases such as Ancestry.com and Newsbank, visit our COVID-19 library services page on our homepage at fitchburgpubliclibrary.org. Are you curious about the activity around the outside of the building? Monique Guthrie and Erin Craig received a grant from Community Development to paint a mural on the wall of the youth library that faces Boulder Drive. They are making great progress. Meanwhile, the adult library is undergoing a window painting project, which includes replacing loose glazing and rotted wood sills and stops. The work is being funded by the city and the state. We look forward to seeing you soon. Best regards, Sharon A. Bernard, Director. And I just want to also welcome, I briefly mentioned his name earlier, and I didn't tell him we were doing this. Sorry, Patrick, but I just want to welcome the new Chief of Staff to Mayor DiNatale, Patrick Hare, who joined us this evening, I believe in your second week. Is that correct?
That is correct, Councilor.
I know you weren't planning on to do this, but if you'd like to just briefly introduce yourself to the council and to the members of the public. I know this won't be your first time in front of us.
No, thank you very much, and thank you for having me tonight. It's a pleasure to get the opportunity to listen to your meeting and learn a little bit more about what's going on in the city. As the mayor will gladly tell you, I was born in Leominster, but I am a transplant to Fitchburg. I am here now. I have joining the city after doing 8 years at Worcester State University, where I worked for President Maloney as his government community relations person. And I'm excited to be back in the city. I spent a lot of time in Fitchburg when I was growing up, and so I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me tonight, and if you all ever need anything, please do not hesitate to reach out.
Wonderful. Well, welcome back to the city of Fitchburg. We're thrilled to have you and look forward to working with you.
Mr. Chair, I need his phone number.
Patrick, just a little bit of advice. Under no circumstances.
Don't do it. Yeah, dial 1-800. Oh my God, Paul. That's
And so, lastly, I just want to thank our city clerk's office and the scores of elections workers who have been working diligently. I think everyone thinks of an election as a single day action. This has taken months or probably almost a year worth of preparation, and Mary and her staff and the incredible elections volunteers have done just amazing work. And the election may be over, but their work has continued and will continue for some time. And just want to thank them for the tireless work that they've done. And you know, the city applauds the work that you've done. So thank you, Mary, and please thank the elections workers for us.
You will. Thank you.
With that, that concludes this evening's agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and second to adjourn. We'll do this by unanimous consent unless there is any objection. Seeing none, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.